Hi, this video is about both the preschool and the school age anecdotal observation assignments. So, an anecdote is a short summary of something that was observed. It is strictly facts, details, what was seen, what was heard. Observation is unobtrusive watching and recording of behavior. It could be done in a laboratory setting or in a natural setting. For this assignment, you'll want to look in a natural setting. So, what is that naturalistic observation? Again, you go into any kind of natural environment where people are interacting and you can observe that behavior. You'll be observing children in different stages, one in preschool and one in school age. For the preschool assignment, you're looking for a total of 5 observations of preschool children. It could be the same child for all 5. It could be 5 totally different children. It is completely up to you. Same with 5 observations of school age. So, what you'll be doing is you will write one paragraph where you write the anecdote and describe what you observed, followed by an interpretation paragraph where you integrate what you've learned from class and you support it with theory and research. For assignment 1 for preschool age children, you will choose 5 of the following 8 events. You can look for a conflict between a child and another child, or a conflict between a child and an adult, sociodramatic play, egocentrism. As you can see, number 1, 2, and 8 are the same for both preschool and school age because you can observe those same events at different ages. Below those 2 assignment details, it says the chapters listed are only a suggestion since they provide more information about the concept or the stage or the term. If you find it somewhere else online, that's fine, but I just wanted you to know where it is in our textbook. These are 2 separate assignments. You will turn in the preschool one first, you'll get feedback on it, and then you'll be able to turn in your second assignment. All of these concepts, again, will be talked about in these various chapters, so make sure to take special note when those ones are brought up. Now, again, you want to observe children from these age groups in a natural environment. It could be a park, a daycare, a birthday party, basically anywhere, a school, right, where you could observe children. But due to the current pandemic, you can use videos. They could be personal videos, they could be online videos, or you can use the videos available in Blackboard rather than having to observe face to face. Here is a sample video citation. Norton, how to train a cat to operate a light switch, and so that you know when you do use video clips, you're going to include them. So if you use 5 different videos on your reference page, you'll have 5 different video clips. Ethical behavior, again, there is an attached permission sheet in case you did go to a school or needed to show anyone that you were observing and why. For this assignment, you will use pseudonyms, meaning you will give children fake names for reasons of confidentiality, since you are not getting the permission from the parents. It is not recommended to observe your own children or family members because it's difficult to keep personal knowledge out of your anecdotes. But again, if you're able to do that, you would give them pseudonyms and treat them like any other observation. If you're following 7th edition APA, you would have a title page, you would have page numbers and a reference page. If you're still following 6th edition, which I'm still accepting right now, you would also have a running head. Setting up your written paper would look like something like this. So I don't have the header included, but here's a sample of sociodramatic play. Below the sample, I included some notes of what is happening within the anecdote. It's a factual account of exactly what happened. It includes a statement about the child's age and gender. It tells us where this event took place, and it does not include opinions or interpretations. It just states what was seen, what was heard, what was observed. So here we have a child called Anna. She's about 4 to 5. She was playing with two other girls, not friends, because that's interpretive. Instead, we say girls of about the same age. They're at a preschool. Then they go on to say what they were doing and wearing and saying. So again, this is a good example of a anecdote that provides the setting and what was happening that relates it back to that heading of sociodramatic play. In the interpretation, you want to connect what happened in the anecdote to things that you've learned from class. Now, again, this one specifically was sociodramatic play, so your interpretation should interpret that concept. So she was displaying this concept. It's common with young children at this age. It provides a citation, and then it provides, through explanation and examples from the anecdote, what this concept is. By putting on clothes that resemble her mother, she's acting out relationships, she's engaged in a typical role play, she'll develop more understanding about relationships. That is sociodramatic play. So again, she provides the concept, she explains the concept and cites from the textbook, and then provides examples from the anecdote to show her understanding. And I say her, but it doesn't have to be a her. If you do want a documentation form, something to help keep you on track, where you can take notes on the left of what it was you saw and what it was you heard, and then maybe on the right, think about concepts and theories that you could relate to. This is optional, so you do not have to turn this in with your assignment. And here is the grading rubric. Um, and again, in our syllabus is where you would find a letter that you could take and print out to other, to daycares or other child care centers. So the rubric will be looking at the first two areas are looking at the anecdote, the next two areas are looking at the interpretation, and the last two areas are looking at your language and your APA format. So again, in the anecdote, you need to describe the setting, describe who was involved, and what happened, what you observed. So description of setting, again, did you provide a thorough and detailed description of not only the children, but what was going on and where the event took place? Was it detailed? Was it unbiased? Again, are you using words like friends? Well, friends is interpretive. Words like the child wanted to. Want is not something we can see. We can hear it. So if you say the child said she wanted to, that's okay. Otherwise, we want to keep bias out and we want to just list what we observed. The interpretation, again, the quality of the interpretation, it should reflect the anecdote and it should be supported by information from the text or some other kind of resource. And again, it could be a quote or a paraphrase. And then, how well do you understand the concept? Were you able to explain it through your examples, through your citation? And again, that's the overall understanding. The last area is about your language use, your format. Did you follow the prescribed format? And remember the social emotional, I'm sorry, the sociodramatic play example is how the formatting should be. The header, the word anecdote, the anecdotal paragraph, the word interpretation, and the interpretation paragraph. What about APA? Are you following APA? Are you providing, whether it's sixth or seventh edition, providing citations? So that's how you'll be graded. All right, let's look at a sample that's not so great. I'm going to pause here. So here's an example of a conflict with an adult, which again is an area on both assignments. This one, though, is for preschool age children, as you can see, with a Head Start and a 4 to 5 year old child. Now I'm showing you the unedited version that was turned into me. So again, it seems to follow the formatting. It has the heading, it has the word anecdote, the anecdotal paragraph. I see some errors already with APA, but we'll talk about that. And then I start to read through the anecdote. Does it tell me who the child is? Well, it tells me her name is Kayla. I don't know if that's the name that she gave her. Again, we want to say that I'll call her is a better way to use a pseudonym. She was playing with colorful blocks with two other kids, so there's not really a lot of explanation about who those other children were or their age. A particular lady. Who is this lady? Is she a teacher? Does she appear to be a parent? If you don't know, that's again where you can say she appeared to be. And then the quote starts at Kayla, but does not seem to end. I also see an interpretive word or a bias word such as upset. The lady seemed to be upset. Well, what did you observe that made you think she was upset? You could say the lady walked over to Kayla, grabbed her by the arm, and excused themselves from the classroom. Again, that's fine. But seemed to be upset is interpretive. So let's look at some suggestions I had for this area. Okay, so as you can see, a lot of grammatical and sentence structure suggestions, editing of grammar and punctuation to make the quotations make sense. Again, I was looking for a little bit more details about the other two children or students and to leave out interpretive language. Okay, so now let's look at the interpretive paragraph. All right, so this student stated this was one of Piaget's stages of cognitive development, which is the pre-operational stage slash egocentrism. So, number one, yes, one of Piaget's stages is the pre-operational stage, but egocentrism is not a stage. It's a concept that occurs within that stage. So, it's not very clear to me here exactly where the student is going, so I continue to read due to the fact that on Bark 2018, page 18. So that's not an accurate APA citation. We've been using a Burke textbook, that's BERK, and then it seems to start a new sentence. It articulates that children understand differently than the way adults understand. So it seems like the student is trying to explain egocentrism, so I go on. Nonetheless, if Kayla would have understood what the lady was talking about, perhaps she would have done what she was told to do. Again, that's not a clear demonstration of egocentrism. So let's see my feedback. Okay, so again, I added some grammatical changes, some punctuation changes, changes with the citation. And at the bottom, I put the interpretation is unclear. I do not have a clear understanding from reading this about Piaget's stage or what egocentrism is. Examples need to be given to make the connection to the anecdote. Why this is also a good example is another one of the areas is already about egocentrism from the assignment, one of the 8 areas that you can choose. So please do not meld together the conflict options with the other areas. If you choose a conflict, you want to choose any kind of concept that is not directly related to one of the other headings, such as the pre-operational stage would have been okay, but again, it's very close to egocentrism. So here is the graded rubric for that student. Again, I tend to give as many points as I can, but it was an adequate description. Again, I could tell where the child was, what was going on. There was some bias, but there was some, information. Again, this was a stretch here, but I gave it a 3. There were missing examples from the anecdote. Egocentrism is already covered, plus it lacked explanation. And again, just being very giving with my language use and format, and APA had many errors also. So this here is a 67. If it was out of 100, that would be a D. So, you know, all threes would be a C. And then if you're aiming for a B or an A, you've got to include some fours in there. So good luck on the assignment, all of you, and I look forward to reading about preschool and school age children.